You're muted, Amok. You're muted.
Good evening, everyone. I welcome you all to today's segment of Digio Gyan, the one of the kind webinar which is famous all around the country and known for its various segments, including the clinical aspects, maybe theoretical aspects, and the basic soft skill module. So today we will be dealing with soft skill module, and to give us a small overview about the DigiOGAN, I would like to invite Dr. Vaidehi ma'am, President NOGS, to give us a short intro about DigiOGAN. Over to you, ma'am.
Ma'am, you are muted.
Yes, I did that. Yeah. So, good afternoon, everyone. Today's respected and esteemed faculty, Dr. Niranjan Shah sir, respected chairpersons, Dr. Rekha Bhiyapurkar ma'am, Dr. Burde, respected seniors, dear friends, boys and girls. I welcome you all once again to the VR world, that is Vaidehi Rajasi's virtual to reality world, the unique digital space where we present a weekly extravagant feast of academic and non-academic bonanza. Friends, ours is the first OBGY society to start this standalone ongoing CMEs every week with very practical, clinically important basic topics, which is the USP of our CMEs. And that is why we have aptly named them DGO GAN. It feels so great to be back after all the festivities, and we are back with a bang. And soon you will know why I say this after you listen to today's faculty. By now, all of you know that we've been conducting DGOGANs under 3 modules, a surgical skill enhancing module, guidelines module, and an interesting soft skill development module. And I'm really delighted to inform all of you that all our previous sessions have been super duper hits. Today is a very special day for 2 reasons. First, we have a very fascinating and engrossing session by a very prolific speaker, Dr. Niranjan Shah, on a very unusual topic. And I'm sure you all will enjoy the journey of a doctor in his inimitable style of storytelling. And secondly, it also happens to be the birthday of 2 great personalities for whom DJ Ogan holds and reserves a very special place. Today is the birthday of Dr. Shah, the faculty himself, and Dr. Mitra Saxena ma'am, both. Both of them have been our great supporters, have regularly attended almost all the DJO GANs and have been always encouraging us to do our best. Sir and ma'am, we wish you a very, very happy birthday. Immensely honored to have you both with us.
Thank you very much.
May God Almighty, sir, shower his choicest blessings on you, always. So, so without much ado, I welcome you all once again. I thank Sir Niranjan Shah sir for accepting our invitation. Friends, I welcome you again to this action-packed virtual learning platform. Together, let's learn and rock the VR world. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for the introduction. To introduce today's faculty, I'd like to invite Dr. Prajakta Burde ma'am to do the honors.
Yeah. Thank you, Amok. And am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Yeah. Thank you, Amok. And thank you, Vaidehi madam, for giving me this opportunity. It is indeed a pleasure and honor for me to introduce a persona like Dr. Niranjan Shah. Dr. Shah hails from Kolhapur, and being an alumnus of Shivaji University, he was the topper from his university. And as Sir ki man ki baat jo kehti hai, he is the master of tricks in all subjects, be it OBGY, be it sonography, laparoscopy, or infertility. His expertise in the vaginal surgery is at par excellence. He is a savior for all the medical fraternity, as he is always stands with them for the dignity and the respect of the medical profession. And he is associated with many medical organizations. To have you here with us, who's going to guide us on the Yaksha Prashna, to be or not to be a doctor. In today's date is 2011-20, which is very unique. And incidentally, we have the birthday of two of our esteemed faculty, Dr. Niranjan Shah. So, sir, we from the NOGS family wish you a very, very happy and healthy birthday. Sir, खास आपके लिए एक कुछ बोलूंगी. सुदिनम सुदिनम तव जन्मदिनम, सुदिनम सुदिनम तव जन्मदिनम, भवतु मंगलम जन्मदिनम, चिरंजीव कुरु कीर्तिवर्धनम, चिरंजीव कुरु पुण्यवर्धनम, विजयी भवतु सर्वत्र सर्वदा, जगति भवतु तव यशोगानम, जीवेत शरदः शतम, जीवेत शरदः शतम. Sir, wish you a very long, healthy life. Thank you, sir. And sir, we welcome you to this NOGS DGO GAN CM. Over to you, Amog.
Thank you, Prajakta ma'am, for the wonderful introduction. Without further ado, I would like to invite the chairperson for today's Digio Gyan segment, Dr. Rekha Bhiyapurkar ma'am. Ma'am needs no introduction. She is one of the senior most consultants in OBGY and is an ever omnipresent guide to all the members of Nagpur. With this, I'd like to invite Dr. Rekha.
Amog, may I just interrupt? Dr. Mitra ma'am has joined, so maybe we can wish her.
Sure.
Mitra ma'am has joined. Yeah. You can go back that slide.
Sure. We acknowledge the presence of Dr. Mitra Saxena ma'am and would like to wish her and Dr. Niranjan Shah a very happy birthday.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday, ma'am. Thanks for joining in.
My pleasure.
Happy birthday, Mitra Madam. I never knew so many years we know that we share the same day.
Please carry on. Lots of love, NOGS. Carry on.
Great personality share birthdays also.
Thank you, Ajay.
Over to you, Amog.
So let us begin. I would like to invite our chairperson, Dr. Rekha Bhiyapurkar ma'am, to start the session, today's session on to be or not to be a doctor.
Hello,
Yes, ma'am, you're audible.
I'm audible.
Yes, ma'am.
First, I give my best wishes to Dr. Niranjan and Dr. Mitra for the birthday. And it's a very, in the morning when our president, Dr. Vaidehi, invited me to chair the session, she said, Madam, it is not an academic topic, but it is a very general topic. I said, but it is $1 million topic. First, you become a doctor and then you become an academician.
Right.
So I invite Dr. Niranjan Shah to give the lights to this topic, whether to become a doctor or not. Please, Dr. Shah.
Yeah. Should I share the screen?
Yes, sir, please.
First of all, let me start with saying that this is an immense honor given by NOGS. I think I've never seen so much of consistency and quality and ongoing spirit, not only in the office bearers, but even all other members of the society, and absolutely rotating their vision in 360 degrees of the necessities for the practitioners today. And second, most important, to relieve our mental agonies and tensions in this COVID area. And of course, enriching. I have never missed any program which NOGS has been there, in spite of the fact that I have not attended many others also, but I make it a point for NOGS. And then this on my birthday, and with all so many of our friends, I feel honored to speak on a topic which is very close to my heart, and I think it is close to everyone's heart. Whether you are a first generation doctor or a second generation doctor or a third generation doctor. Once a medical fraternity, you always get into that. It's like a God's privileged position given to us. But along with the roses, there are thorns also. So let us go through this beautiful jungle along with its own difficult paths. But let's first give our obituaries to fallen colleagues, citizens, patients because of this unprecedented COVID. And of course, being OBGY, let us give applause to our mothers, sisters, co-consultant, colleagues, the immense strength they are showing in this COVID pandemic. And being an OBGY organization, I feel we should first salute them for keeping us and fighting, trying to minimize the losses we have. Having said that, it's probably these two pictures, I feel, and I've been feeling that is probably, they fit in at least to me, because doing all this which is above is probably a part of training course. You have to go through it, how much you excel and how much you choose the priorities. But it's a defined path, like a monkey is born and then if he is groomed in the laboratory, he will also pick up those skills almost akin to humans. But then to be a human, you will have to see beyond yourself, and for everything you touch, from your staff, colleagues, patients, and the society at large. So thanks for giving this monkey and this human platform here. To be or not to be. To be or not to be is the famous line from Hamlet, and this sentence applies to many situations in our life. Which is correct or which is wrong is not the point. The choice taken, one has to be loyal to the path which lies ahead. The doctor-patient relationship is one which is now a simmering volcano. Many places it has been exploded. At many places it is still silently simmering. And we are bound to be affected by this, because it's going to touch every aspect of our life, not only our medical practice. Just if you see the two pictures, that was the time I think my father or my grandfather could have been. My father, I remember, was using rubber tubes to be boiled again and again and to be used for IV saline. And if nowadays it will be a act against the law, and everybody will be under the locks if we start using that type of system. But the technology has taken over, and with the technology is taking over, it has brought its own boons and it has brought its own problems to face. In the old format days, I feel it was a golden era. The family physicians were the most respected position holders in the society, intervening not only for illness but also for marriage settlement, dispute settlement, property disputes, restricted diseases. The books were not so heavy that we can use it as a pillow, except for Gray, I think. Rest of the books now, if you see, if I just saw my niece's current books, the standard books, then I thought that I would have never passed MBBS with all these books and the knowledge which is now cramped in it, especially pharmacology. And that is why actually pharmacology made me take gynecology, because in gynec there were very few drugs. All of you will agree. Now with infertility and every other modality, things are coming up. But only pitocin, methargine, very few analgesics, and minimal antibiotics. That's all the pharmacology knowledge you needed. Restricted pathies, we were not bombarded in those days by fluoropathy, electropathy, homeopathy, it's Unani, etc. They were there scattered, but it was never coming into the way of the people practicing the modern medicine. And of course, what was the investment necessary? My father told me that in 1958, he started his practice with 350 rupees investment. So now can you think of it? Exactly opposite is happening now. People who deliver with you, have how many of them have called you for the naming ceremony? How many of them have come back and showed their first year toddler who is going around? But in the olden days, my father used to attend at least 3 or 4 functions. In 4 or 5 days, his list of appointments was to be about 8 or 10. And he made it a point that he will go and attend that function, howsoever busy he was. Now, unlimited diseases, I need not explain this. What is going to come out of Corona, after Corona, what, whether it is man-made, nature-made, the backlash of the nature, etc. But as medical students, we will have to learn it and we will have to put it into our system to treat it if the treatment is available. Pathis have become very complex in our own subject, like people are saying that what does and where does a MD, the newly passed MD candidate stands with few DNCs, half hysterectomies and few cesareans. And after that, you have to go for a certificate course of everything from laparoscopy to sonography to non-natural hole surgeries. You name it and you will find that each thing has a certificate course now. Now, if that has to be done, like yesterday, a newly passed female candidate came to me and said, sir, I have passed from KM Bombay and I have this plan, this plan, this plan. And then I said, then yes, okay, you are married. So what is the other plan? He said, yeah, that's the problem, that we want to have a family also. So I said, you see, if you are missing all these issues, it's going to be a big problem. Because ideally, those whose kids are into medical profession, when they pass MBBS, they should get married. They should have a child during the PG, give it to their parents who are still in their 50s, pass the PG, pass the super PG, do the mandatory course, services, come back. By that time, the kid will be ready to enter the medical college. But if you do it otherwise, that you will complete everything and then come to go for a marriage, I think it will be a period of menopause and andropause, everything included, and we should be rushing towards our colleagues who are into assisted reproductive technology. And this is a fact. What's the age at which a confident consultant can start practice with all other things which are necessary? And that brings us to the next, unrestricted investments. Where do we stop? I bring in a 20 lakh sonology machine. Next door, there is a 45 lakhs machine. And that machine has no value after 1 year. You want to sell it in the market, you will get peanuts for that. So to be a doctor, you all remember this. You made the lamps burn till early dawn. The training which you received, the hard work put in, and then individually getting the technical skills. Wherein the other problem lies, that we all get groomed to work as single entities. We always consider our colleague, whether he is better skilled or I am better skilled, or whether he is better or I am better. That is how the training course goes on. And by the time you pass, you emerge as a person with a singular identity. Unfortunately, not knowing how to play in the team. The dawning of practicality of private, corporate and government practice, no knowledge, nothing. Somebody passes and says, I want to become a medical officer in government. You don't know what are the rules. You don't know what is the methodology of entrance. You don't know what will be the political interference. Corporate, I will say less the better. We are in the final phases of golden era. After another 10 years, forget having small practices. Either you are into the shed I'll say the hen shed of the corporate hospitals, or you will have to suffer. Private practice, yes. The minute the colleague who is appearing and going to pass comes back and says, sir, I have passed and I will be coming back to Kolhapur. It's like a jungle, it's like a jungle or no tiger wants another tiger into the area. The student immediately becomes a faculty, and faculty thinks that the competition has increased. Whether it's true or not, I'll leave it to you as to what actually goes on up to the point, like I think Rekha madam will agree, that after working for some years, you will realize the importance of sharing, working together, spreading, joining, and then living and excelling into something which you have a passion for, the sub-subjects of obstetric gynecology. So that's the picture when we were in 12th standard. Then the mountain really goes to that top of the mountain, and you see there are many other mountains like the Himalayan range, and these mountains go into increasing into their height. As an evaluation of a medical student, when we go in and when we come out, that's our age difference which will be catching up. And then along with it, I sometimes feel so much of embarrassed that you are 28, 29, 30, and you have to still ask for your monthly maintenance from your father or mother, while somebody who went into engineering is writing to you a greeting card from, say, USA, or not at least USA, Bangalore or Hyderabad or Pune city, saying that this is my lifestyle and this is what we have to put in. This, what we put in, is never acknowledged, never known by the society. That's another fault which I think we have. We have never been in contact with the general population to explain what is it to become a doctor. They say that, okay, from my society area, this boy got admitted and he has gone into medical college. After 15, 20 years, he comes back. And after that, the people imagine, okay, went on a bicycle and is now going around into a car. But what has been put in as physical, mental, emotional sacrifices, unless they are in a way spread into the society by using social media or other platforms, we are not going to solve or make the simmering volcano silent. This is just to say what happens when we are appearing in the examinations, expecting the internal will protect us. But then when you go into the room, you find that yes, you have to face the onslaught of the examiners and face all the questions suddenly asked from various corners and show that you are competent enough. And I think once you pass that stage, you really become confident, and the difference comes in under your skin from a student to a consultant. This is the result days we all know. We were like this many a times when the results were expected. And in the residency, follow the order. I did not explain the picture. Pulse rate was asked, and this gentleman was doing every 15 minutes something else, which means by PR. And then the boss is asking, don't you understand the difference between what is PR in the other sense or in the other way? This is for my tribute to our lady colleagues, how they go around when they come into the college. And then after the PG, can you remember few names of your colleagues who really just forget the face, but see the stance and the dressing and everything? And how many of our colleagues are like that? I can name a few. You can also name a few. But yes, good. That's the power showing that you are slow and you have come up and you are now in a position where you can handle somebody's life. And that's for our gentlemen colleagues, that slogging and the working hard in the under PG, undergraduates, and thinking that after becoming consultant, we will have a life like this. Of course, the course now, if you see how it has increased leaps and bounds in years, this is the right age to put your kids into medical college, because by the time they finish everything, they'll be in their adulthood to practice also and to marry also. Otherwise, this position is going to go around for a long time. Both of them still yet to complete the medical practice, and the matrimonial columns will say the student is still in medical college. Somebody who says he's an academics, he chooses medical career because he wants to study lifelong. Are we not doing that? See the webinar and webinars and webinars. Everything available. I think Dr. Rekha madam, was it so easy for you to go around and search for the knowledge, find out the books or the journals, depending upon which medical college you are working? Few medical colleges have had utterly nothing in the library. So the opportunities to the next generation are not tremendous, but then so also the years to be put in. So the lifespan of an ordinary man from kid, toddler, etc., then old age, and then cripple, and then go down to the grave finally. By the time we finish off, many of our colleagues are now succumbing in the 50s. The percentage of diabetes, hypertension, psychiatric disturbances, depression are on the rise. And mostly, life of a doctor is to become a doctor, marry a doctor, have kids, make the kids doctor, and find doctor rishta for the kids. In the olden days, I found out that the doctors were smart in those generations. In our generations, we started marrying a colleague who was a doctor. But in the older generations, if you see, you must have heard stories that such and such a doctor married the nurse in charge of that hospital working where he was working. So the romance in between the nurse and the doctors was a very common thing. And I think they did it very wisely, because they had somebody as a wife in the house, and they had somebody as an administrator to manage the hospital also. But being a sir and doctor senior to her, there was not a scene like this. Today we see the husband and the wife are colleagues, and the administration is handled by the wife mostly. And in the private scene, if you see in the cabin, the husband is bending and pleading to the wife, don't fire the ayah, because after 2 days, nobody will come and who will work for her in place. So this scenario is increasing. We have to see that what the administration needs. And if you add all the government regularities which have come in, and the experience and the stint abroad, etc., this is the consultant, and this is his wife after he married, after becoming a consultant and settling in his town. Now, this is the reality. In some places, you will find that yes, it's not like that. But yes, many doctor colleagues are now going into their 40s without having settled into matrimonial life. This is the entire gamut we are carrying on our shoulder just to become established and known as a doctor, or to go into services, or to go abroad, or to acquire skills. And this is a heavy burden. But like madam said, you have a desire. Yes, you have a desire to become a doctor. And what's that desire really going to mean? The desire says that study, acquire knowledge so as to become the fighting spirit between the patient and his grave. Be ready always to defeat death. Be ready always to save as many colleagues you can, as many of your friends you can, and guide them properly on the medical path for a good and successful life. Then that burden doesn't matter, provided those who we have helped, those for whom we have strived, acknowledge and once at least say thank you. That tendency is dropping, and dropping very fast. So the intentions of becoming a doctor are never ill or devilish or bad. They are pure and clear. We almost reach the status of God, and patients also have placed us at that altar. In COVID pandemic, you must have seen that many social media posts were saying that the God is not in the temple but in the hospitals. But in the same pandemic, we saw that even though the patient died because of comorbidities and age and COVID, the hospitals were smashed, buildings were burned, and doctors were thrashed. The coronavirus has brought of its problems in all the aspects of our life. We also have to follow those rules. We have to follow the social epidemic rules or pandemic rules. Yes, we were applauded. We were given the thali and everything in the initial days. But as the pandemic, without getting controlled, started spreading, and the control of managing this was in the hands of, as I say, babus, who I think have mismanaged, because there should have been a top knowledgeable epidemiological expert who should have handled all this and seen to it that proper decisions are delegated to the doctors, not to the officers. But then we had to plead for the safety of the safety keepers. And you all must be aware that the death rate of our colleagues across India is rising, and from particular profession going above the range of 500, reaching 750, 1000, and from the age of being just passed out MS graduate who died 2 days ago, to a girl from Wardha who died, who was pregnant 7 months and died of COVID, to senior colleagues who are succumbing because of the age and COVID. This is a loss tremendous, not only because of the infection, but because of the apathy of the administrators who have to handle the situation. Who gets the credits? Doctors in the hospital, government hospitals, in the COVID wards, in the fever clinics. As doctors, we are not at all bothered about it, as long as the results are there, the patients are served, and we must applaud our younger generation, right up to second MBBS, who were drafted into COVID wards to be the first responders. Forget about those who were postgraduates, even second year students. And they were lured by saying that they'll be given 10,000 per month, certificate, additional marks, etc. Nothing has really materialized like this. Many students are suffering. Many branches, they are saying, I have enrolled in general surgery, but now I have known nothing except COVID. 6 months have gone, 9 months have gone, and one doesn't know how many months will go. So there has to be something brought in by our organizations in a format, a concrete plan by those people who want to put in their inputs and control the political parties and babus and the so-called social workers. And yes, webinars have been going on, ICOG college giving its credit points, we could understand, because it's of course our sister concern. I have always wondered why MCI did not get attached itself, except for a few webinars. They have really not got into, and it would have been helpful for the colleagues, because if on the other hand you have to collect those points to get re-registered. These were excellent platforms where they could check, because the attendance is documented, the topic is documented, the working hours for the points are documented, but I don't know how they have kept quiet. But yes, certificates I'm storing, and right now they are in one bag, but by the time COVID completes, I think I'll be having one room in my hospital which will be ICOG certificates, which I can give to any colleague if it is allowed as a transferable certificate, so that they also can become members with other rules. That's about the doctors we are saying. One aspect of our medical atmosphere, a medical field. But who is at stake with us? The patient. And what's the patient? Patient is a broken mind and broken bodies. Doesn't really like to fall ill. You are all gone for holidays. You will next time say, okay, next time we will again come back to this place because it's very beautiful. How many patients say that, yes, my experience in this hospital was very excellent. I had a illness and I want to come back next year with the same illness and enjoy the hospitality of the hospital. Nobody says that. They want to forget it. They don't want to remember the painful episodes. And of course, everybody nowadays bring it down to the point of cost. What is the difference between a hotel and a hospital? Hotels, you want to go again and again. Hospitals, hotel, you go with a sound body, sound mind, and a sound pocket. That's what the patient says. They feel that, yes, whatever they spend there was for their own luxury. But for a hospital, they come with a broken mind, broken body, and then the hospital breaks their pocket. They don't realize the most valuable thing, which is life and quality of life, is being sustained by us, being cured by us, being make them the luxuries otherwise they want to enjoy possible and enjoyable. But the patient does not understand this. You can test it. Even our own women after the delivery say that this is the last. Till after another 2 years, they land back with us. Because if that episode of labor pain, nature has made a provision that they'll forget it over a period of time. But as such, nobody will like to come into the hospital. What is a hospital? It's a complex organization with intricate, specialized scientific medical equipment, technical staff, and the function is restoration and maintenance of good health with patient, paramedical, and physicians being the focal point. These three parameters, these 3 points, patient, paramedical, and physicians, now has exploded into many things. Let us see. If you see the healthcare and you see all other aspects attached to it now, without all this, you cannot have a successful practice. Your hospital setup may not be recognized, or you will have to be languishing into some back lanes of the system. Quality would be important. Attitude and attendance to the patient would be important. Following of the rules and regulations, branding and reputation, and other services which you will offer, where the patient will feel that he is getting worth of his money. Biased medicine, we say evidence-based, this based, that based, but many a times practically common sense is required. Sometimes even a nonsense activity done, patient gets benefited. Ignorance of the patient can be used, whether it is ethical or not. I'm not saying that. But if the patient doesn't understand the complex anatomy, the working, the machinery, when you have a problem on the hand in theater, if you call them at that moment, explain the situation, that this is the fact, by just twisting your fingers a little, I'm not saying lying, but then we are doing the right job, another expert has come, the patient will be obliged, that patient will say, relative, doctor was so knowledgeable, he guessed the complication on the table, pay for your own folly and also pay for your colleague who has come to solve that folly. But if you hide it and tell it after a few days, it's going to boomerang. So you will have to use many aspects apart from the academic given in the books. And of course, make a habit of having somewhere in your hospital with your main manager of the hospital, all these acts and their information preliminary and the dates and statutory requirements. Otherwise, this list is going to increase. I don't know how many of you have heard that if you have a generator in your hospital, you have to have a license and pay yearly fees to the government. If you don't do it, it's illegal. If you have spirit in your hospital, there should be a fireproof place where you can keep the spirit bottles. Some officer will walk in, and of course, mostly he'll fleece you, but otherwise, these all are the small acts. So starting a hospital now is act tarik pe tarik pe tarik. So act pe act pe act. I don't know where it is going to end. The latest thing which is going to happen and come on us, we have all seen that as soon as this government started, medical ministry was divided into allopathy and Ayush ministry. Ayush is Ayurvedic, Unani, homeopathy, etc. Separate ministry. Tremendous amount of funds. And now the government is thinking of starting an integrated course of allopathy plus of this Ayush. So every medical doctor who is going to come out after some years will have to have knowledge of all the systems. Let us pray that the patients remain safe after some years. As individual parties, I have nothing against them. They have their own plus points. They have their own areas with expertise. Let everybody stick to it. Don't try to mix up things and make a chaos. And if you see, BSc nursing now is they are thought of to go into what America has, family nurses, family practitioner nurses, midwifery nurses, who will be coming into our field mostly to start deliveries at home or at peripheral centers. I leave it to the experts to decide whether how much it is going to be beneficial. Of course, successfully we have prevented the authority to be handed over to these nurses for doing MTPs. That has been put on hold, but that was another plan of the government. Now, Dental Association wants to have an integrated course and get converted into MBBS. In UP, the pharmacists are saying, as it is, we give the medicines. So give us permission to practice medicine. And as I said, the integrated course waiting around the corner. So that's medicine, dear friends, guys and girls. Medicine, the science of uncertainty and an art of probability. 10,000 cesareans done. Can you give me on writing that 10,001 will not land you in trouble? You have to do the ABCD for every case, every time you put a hand on your patient. So it's how does it work then? It works on the principle of probability, and it is uncertain that it will work. So it's the science of uncertainty, and good that it is an art of probability, which is drawn into our favor because of the science which has given some guidelines as to how we practice this art. The emblem which we have, which is the latest emblem we have, is this, the one with the two serpents wound around the staff. The staff, the initial representation was of the yellow one, the left one, which is the staff of the Greek god of medicine, and the snake around. The middle one is of the army, the medical institution in America. But do you know, when we started putting this on our cars, we were initially putting Red Cross. Once we started putting on this, few of the social media comments were that after a long time, the doctor, which is the staff in the center, has two representatives of the animal world, which is a snake, and you know how snake is looked upon, and that's the real representation of the medical community nowadays. I hope you all understand what it means. So everything which is now in public domain, public has its own views of labeling us, and they have their right also. And that leads us to our search. What are we, after putting in all these many years, after coming down, arranging finances, arranging other aspects, public relations, etc., etc., still we are not finding it safe. We are grappling as to practice medicine peacefully. We have moral problems, the moral problems of the in association moralities, outside moralities, legalities, social aspects, ethical aspects, security of the medical community, financials, and of course the curriculum, which is increasing day by day for our students. This last 4 years trend shows that the number of the toppers is switching away from medicine to other branches which they feel are better, lucrative, finishes at right age, establishes them by the placement, and the life is done. Even in our own field, there were vacant seats for now cardiothoracic surgery, neurosurgery, pediatric surgery, OBGY. Do you know how many undergraduates wants to go for OBGY? They say it's a 24-hour job. Many will opt for pathology, non-clinical subjects, but they will not come for OBGY. This is a pathetic situation. So we are searching every aspect of this. Morality. Let us not talk on our morality and ourselves. We all know where we are going wrong. We all know who are our black sheeps. And whether we can look into the mirror and say, yes, I am not one of them. That's the taste only I leave it to the friends that yes, you think. But everybody wants to survive. And what is at stake? All the academic expertise we have gathered. At the 35 years of age, you come into the market and then you go and meet a quack and you say, sir, I am so and so, I have qualified in so and so, and you please send me and refer me patients, I'll give good results to them. It is absolutely shameful so as to go to people who are not qualified and then put your academics at the altar. Finance, yes, we all know we have, everything can be faked, but you cannot fake money. And it is required, and you all know if you want to start practice in Nagpur or Kolhapur, I live apart Mumbai and Bangalore and Hyderabad, but even in the second tier or third tier cities, you cannot do it now without even 2 crores or 3 crores. Just think that you are going to do nothing and keep it in the bank, and whether you will be able to live. But then what will you be doing? Just sitting at home and looking at your certificates? No, we are not made doctors for that. But then we have to, again as an organization, put on pressures on the rule makers as to ease these problems. Attitude, technologies, internal, external conflicts. Tell me when is the time? Why they tell me the time if I am overshooting?
No, sir, carry on.
Okay. So then the next aspect which comes is that technology has come in. I remember seeing ultrasound in 1985 in Ian Donald's book. We had never seen Ian Donald in Miraj or Solapur. The first ultrasound we saw after passing MD was in 1987. And then after I had to get trained and that, all that. Availability of instrumentation has become very easy. Something gets floated in the market in European markets or American markets. Within 2 to 3 months, you can have it in India. Gone are the days when you said that it took so much of time and that it will be shifted, then the technology has to come here. But then that leads to high investment, that leads to stress, stress leads to fear of survival, and of course, everybody wants to have success. And then the black sheep mentality starts coming in, and slowly we don't understand. When we ourselves got converted from the idealistic and pure intentions, fresh, fast medical graduate, to sometimes some colleagues I call, they are the VCs of the black sheep university. You can learn so many tricks from them so as to have a successful practice. On top of it, Consumer Protection Act has come, medical legality awareness has increased, and you all very well know the antisocial and criminal elements around your hospital, where you have to dole out for every public function or election. Otherwise, your hospital premises are not safe. So we have to really think that why we age prematurely. In fact, so much of a technical expertise, a need of a society, a must branch of the society to keep the society safe should be best protected and given a confidence that you will never be touched. That's the responsibility of the elephant on our shoulders. Here is what again, this is me, that was me, this is my colleague and my cousin, other Jack, Jill, that was Jack, this is Jill. And he gets fooled by these attributes which he gets in the society. You are a noble profession. One feeling of superiority comes in. You have tremendous intellectual power. You have no recurring cost once you have established the clinic. And what do you use to treat patients? Brain which is given by the God. You don't have to bring in every time a new brain to treat the patient. You are available 24/7. We put up boards, emergency available 24/7. Do you know what the loss is? If you are put that board, and if you are, anybody of you has that board, and you are not there in your hospital because of some reasons as a your practice trend, either you keep equally qualified person or you take out that board. If that board is there, you are legally liable to provide services 24/7. And of course, doctor, you should give 100% care. And the traps is we get caught into ego. As soon as you start practice, patients come in and say, doctor, that you have landed in Kolhapur. Now Kolhapur is safe. We were waiting for you to come. Our treatment will be in your hands. Remember, get careful, move back a little and find out about that person. He has duped another few doctors and has not paid them. And now these type of elements are in search of a new doctor who comes and speaks ill about the other colleagues. And this doctor's ego boosts like anything. The overconfidence ability which we get sometimes after getting few successes in the field, and then we start over commitments, false commitments, and sometimes we land in trouble where you are not expert in the area which you claim. Communication skills of doctors. You work, at least I have worked entire my life in government setups, but the flip side of it is, you sit in the OPD and you start calling everybody saying, hey, Mahatari ikade ye, hey, tikade bus. Delivery room made, you know very well in delivery room how you treat the patient who is in pain. Because we see the sisters and the staff there working like that, we also get trained like that. Our language becomes like that. And when we start practice, we really have to struggle then to bring out a language which is sweet, quoted, and with eyes on the head. But it doesn't happen. Mostly it doesn't happen. The political social workers who are around and they want to use you and your office without paying you a single dime, but to show the people that services are being rendered. So there will be camps with your names floated around. We also feel, oh, I'm getting publicity. I'm getting free publicity. I'm being exposed into this area. My name will be there. Patients who come there in those camps are never going to come to you for payment, because otherwise they would have gone and treated themselves, because in camps, except diagnosis, nothing happens. From years to years, like the exam patients who are brought in every time in examination, the expert patients tell the student who is next to him, if you pay me 1,000, I'll tell you everything which the patient examiners ask. And my diagnosis is this, you examine me here, mark this there, and I'll see to it that you will pass your viva. Similarly, we are fooled by taking into the market and nothing really works out. And what does the people who are not doctors think of us? Even our relatives, mom who is not a doctor thinks that yes, my boy is putting his life at stake. My friends think that I'm having the gala time of my life. The girlfriend is always doubtful because she has heard many rumors of romances in the hospital. Society thinks I am a printing machine. The next RBI, at every place. What I think is I am the best of the person. I am a crusader. I am in the society to save everybody. But if you really think you are a weakened, frustrated, exhausted person, not because of the responsibilities which really medicine brings, but because of the nasty elements which have got attached to our medical practice, few because of our mistakes and few because of the society. If you drink alcohol, you cannot drive. But a person who works for 18 hours, the alcohol level after consuming one peg and working 18 hours, the condition is same. So if you cannot drive, you cannot work also. You know how much you have worked. 72 hours without sleep has been my record in my residency, where I have not slept for 72 hours at a stretch. Now, I don't think that's human. Because I have done it, you should also do. It's not the correct answer. We got through it. We are indebted to our teachers who made us a slog. That makes us slog now also at this age to have deliveries in such a vast number. Because obstetrics is the branch which people after 50 don't want to have. But yes, this point should be considered because maybe in future there will be a case like America that this exhausted doctor was treating the patient, that is why complication occurred. And what the media does to us, hospitals burn, doctors assaulted, staff and patients run away, and frenzied mob destroys the hospital. Singanaya Hospital, Thane, such a marvelous hospital, one political death, not the mistake of the hospital. A media person runs down and says, this hospital killed our leader. The entire hospital was burned down to ashes. But Singaniyas have never built that hospital again. That system, that place lies as it was. And I think it was great loss to the people of Thane. If you want to have relationships with media, you all know what has to be done. But then if you go to them with the good news, they'll say we are not interested. That is what is saying. This person is saying, I have saved a life of a complicated case. This lady says, please come us to when you have a death in the hospital. That we can publicize, but we cannot publicize that how much good work you have done. This is the state which is already in Bombay. These are bouncers. Bouncers are present in clubs, nightclubs, dancing discos. But now hospitals are also having it. And I think time has come when all the doctors should ask for a firearm and keep it on the table at a prominent place where the patient and the relatives sleep. Otherwise, it's very difficult in places like UP. Mitra madam, I hope you have a gun with you and using it fearlessly because you are a fearless lady. This is going to come. And relatives. The mob is there when the problem is there. As soon as you ask them something like blood, forget about money and deposit. Everybody vanishes. And they only turn up when something goes wrong with the patient and accuse the hospital and the doctor of negligence. And political leaders, social leaders will phone you and say, doctor, please adjust. Because they know your vote is one and the mob's vote is in number of 500s. So when I joined MBBS, I thought I'll be saving many lives. Now I have to really think that how can I save my life every day? If you are a doctor, you are putting your life in such a dangerous place that you will be in constant threat and or you will land in depression and God save your family after that. So is it really service above self which the Sister Nightingale did? And we also profess that yes, we have to give our services beyond ourselves. That point has come to our topic's title. So should we be a doctor or not to be a doctor? What will be, which side of this vein will be more? Our responsibility is our flawless character, our desire, our attitude to serve, or all the threats, the fear, the economic burdens. Many hospitals are now being auctioned off by banks. You can feel the pain that yes, even the hospitals are being treated as commercial organizations. And that point will reflect in our further discussion when we go further. And that situation has come because what is noble profession and what is devil's profession has got mixed. One of the senior doctors said, noble profession is my medical oath, which I have taken to treat to the best of my abilities, irrespective of the caste, creed, etc., etc. But it doesn't, the oath has never mentioned anything regarding money or recompensation or compensation, but that aspect is taken hold by the public, and then it is thrust on us saying, you are a noble profession, you should not talk of finances, economics, loss and profit, but yes, if you have taken loan, we will throw you on the road. So we also have to assess why we want to call ourselves noble profession. Yes, our nobility we know. There are many patients who know our nobility. Then if an incident occurs in a hospital, there are 20 patients who have delivered. One of the patient's husband and relatives start creating ruckus. How many of you can quote example that rest of the 19 have got up and defended you? They will protect themselves, but then they'll never put their foot in between and say, no. We have been here and this doctor has not behaved like this. So this problem that yes, I have so many patients in the hospital, they'll come for my defense, is to be forgotten. We have to be practical and come on the earth. From the good, we are already bad, we are moving towards becoming ugly. This is a typical day in the doctor's life in general. The ambulance comes in, emergency is there, you examine the patient, you give the treatment, medicines are given, bill is handed over, doctor asks, see the hand, he is asking for the money, I am rotating the pointer. Is the pointer being seen there? No. So this gentleman who is near that walker is holding his hand towards the patient. That's the money being asked for the hospital. And see the expression of the next brown coat gentleman with the astonishment on the face. And the social joke is, first heart attack was at home, second heart attack was after seeing the hospital bill. But if this economics is not handled properly, or there is a mob, this is we running away, or getting bald earlier or aged earlier, or many of our colleagues have committed suicide, and the family of our medico goes into shambles. Every step now we think there is a wolf in the corner waiting to catch us, and that's why we are afraid. We are not afraid of touching a complicated patient. And what do the patients expect? There are many books flooded in the market, many activists in the market, many of our colleagues who are in the market from negative angle, teaching wrong things, spreading wrong messages about the medical fraternity at large, by and large. There are black sheep on us. They only point out that they dissolve the difference between complication and negligence, and then spread it as a mass news where the doctor gets hurt. So the patients will say, we fear for our life, and we will have these expectations. If they are legitimate, we are going to provide them. But if they are frivolous, we can't. Like people coming to us after becoming expert in internet medicine and telling, I want to have a close reduction and K-wire fixation under nerve block and light GA. The doctor has to put a board outside saying, please keep your mobile and internet outside. For that, we will charge you separately. You have come here for my medical knowledge, you pay my fees. The spider's web is increasing from our side also. There are now insurance sector rules. IRDA is bringing in many guidelines. Pharmaceutical setups are putting up hospitals. Many governments are bringing in these social health provider schemes like now Atal Bihari Vajpayee Yojana, etc. Multinational hospitals chains, corporate hospitals, telemedicines, etc. Where does that individual doctor go? It's a catch-22 situation. I am now 35. Please advise me, Rekha madam. I have come in Nagpur. Which path I should take so that I can earn 2 times of food and have a decent shelter over my head? It was far too easy for us, I'll say. Let us be thinking of our younger generations. The IRDA have put in this insurance sector pattern on America basis. And within short time, as I said, small hospitals will be wiped out, and you follow the corporate dictum or the insurance line dictum. Accident comes, you have a cut leg, you will say, I'll re-anastomosis everything. The phone comes to you and says, the re-anastomosis will be 5 lakhs, amputation is 75,000, do amputation. You cannot do that because it will cost more to the insurance company. So you have to follow. If you don't follow, you will be posted to some remote hospital because you are a servant there. You are not the owner of the sector. This situation is not far off. It's going to be there, it's going to come, and it's going to trouble our colleagues. There was a recent article in the Times of India by an obstetrician senior lady from Delhi. She said, after working for 25 years in that setup, she was unceremoniously given a Friday letter, that as a yellow letter, as it said in USA, don't come from tomorrow, because you are falling short in what your commitments should be to the hospital in terms of cash. Whether you are practicing ethical medicine or not is not the concern of these setups. And top of it, the rules are coming like, I have nothing against quality control of India. But how many, I have nothing against our own organization's Manyata program. But how many of you have studied NABH? To get into entry level, you have to spend around 5 lakhs. That doesn't give you an entry to final entrance. You have to make so many changes which are not fit to our country. Our hospital setups cannot have the 85% of the private setups where the large number of population is catered cannot go into NABH guidelines. Yes, you bring NABH, but bring to the country of India. Don't copy USA rules and stamp them on India. But the hidden agenda is, by applying this, by making this mandatory, slowly your hospitals will be closed because the compliances are not there. And again, the workforce, who really are the key player of the medical practice, like doctors, will be relegated to some position where you will be listening to an MBA past hospital manager. That's the situation. I'll not explore much of NABH. If somebody is interested in knowing, they can call me on my number. I'll explain that. Please understand and do it. Your money is hard-earned money. Please don't fall into the trap. Many frontiers have been also increased in technical areas like subspecialty, super specialty. There are few doctors who are now full-time assistants. From one hospital, from Vaidya's hospital, they will go to Amog's hospital, keep everything ready, write notes, everything done. Only a telephone is their investment. And I know a colleague in Bombay who is earning 28 lakhs to 32 lakhs per year by just assisting. He has not invested anything in anything. One car and one mobile phone. Promoters are now not doctors most of the places. So these are the various areas like angles which are increasing to the medical field. So we will be advertising like saying we need a retractor specialist. His job is to only hold the retractor. That is how the subspecialty is going down. Right nostril doctor, left nostril doctor, like saying like that. You will have to need only this specialist or that specialist. And that, as I said, brings down to us is to If on the other side, every rule, every taxes, every law says medical profession is a commercial profession, why are not we allowed to advertise? If we are social profession, then all the benefits of the social profession should be given to the medical community. But it doesn't happen. You can't advertise. But then the accountability towards your investment comes in. The proprietary healthcare business will hold you responsible if the money is not brought into the hospital. Consumers want many different facilities. I will not name the hospital, but there are 2-3 hospitals in the country who charge 3 lakhs, 2 lakhs for normal delivery, 7 lakhs for cesarean. I hope all of you know. Good. People who want to pay them, they can go there and get it done. But consumer needs are changing. Professionalism has come in. Investment has gone up. Technology and information technology, WhatsApp University has having its own effect. And the relationship between doctor and patient is on a volatile platform. So we should be allowed to give advertisement pattern. Supposing tomorrow I install the cosmetic gynecology machinery, which is going to cost me around 1 CR, and nobody knows in Kolhapur, nobody knows that what is it going to do. So unless I have a platform to show it, showcase it to the public, use it, earn money, return to the bank. It's the loss of the government, ultimately it is going to happen. I think I am also tired speaking on so much. Just listen to you listening to this saying what is going on is it all depressive? But these are the main questions. I'll leave it to you to read. I'll read only one or two. Are we God or are we devils? Why a punishment is demanded by thrashing a doctor if there is a casualty in the hospital? I think we are lucky that by this time, no news has come in paper that there is a maternal death in the hospital during delivery, and the mob is saying, wife for a wife or a husband for a husband, you either replace or you compensate. That has not happened as yet. But is it eye for an eye retaliation? Or it is that the patients feel that this doctor has become rich on our illnesses? So that's like an hidden jealousy or haves against have-nots. The behavior of the VIPs, should we keep on fearing like this? Is there a law in the country? What does the Supreme Court say? Do you know you must have heard that the various laws which have come in, that you have an emergency in the hospital, you cannot refuse. Even if it's your gynec hospital and there is an orthopedic injury comes in, you have to start an IV line, give preliminary treatments, arrange for an ambulance and send them to a proper place. So a case which was going on in Supreme Court, they came down and they have given a judgment that yes, this all should be done. And then, as you know, आज की तारीख कोर्ट की खत्म हो गई, अगली सुनवाई इस तारीख को होगी. So nobody has now then done the sunwai. Who is going to bear the cost of all this, of giving the preliminary treatment or giving medical help? Court is silent on that. No, until date, the governments are saying that we will be paying for the 24 hours, 72 hours. But how many of you have an experience of earning a rupee back without spending 2 rupees from government? That's the situation where we have conducted government's programs for school health, surgeries, and we stopped voluntarily saying this doesn't work out because everybody wants to have a percentage from that amount which is sanctioned. And what you have in the hands is better to publicize as a charitable free hospital. What has the Doctor Protection Act done? It has not done anything so far. We have medical emergency teams of each IMA. Are they really helpful when assault takes place? Because the fight remains between the medical community and the non-medical community. We have to find out some other solution. We must have a peacekeeping force in the KMA or IMA or anything in Nagpur Medical Association, where you have few non-medicals, medicals, advisors, lawyers, social, so that they can go and intervene and say that, okay, the doctor might be have mistaken, but this is a hospital, there are other patients, we will discuss, we are here to assure you it will be solved. If this doesn't happen, we are still finding fights going on. So can we be ever be anybody's mentor, guide, philosopher, the qualities of a family doctor, and considered as the eldest of the family in any place? My father had the proud honor of being the topmost family physician of Kolhapur. And many a patient still come to me and say that gone are those days. They are telling me this and they say, doctor, for judging, for diagnosing an ultrasound, ovarian tumor, you are asking for an ultrasound. Your father used to just touch the abdomen and say that it is an ovarian tumor. But then I tell them I can also diagnose, but Supreme Court says prove it. Otherwise, you are not doing medicine. You are doing quackery. So deliberations have to come in from all sides, mostly from our own in organizational dialogues. Doctors differ and patients suffer is an old dictum in England, but now it is changed to doctors differ and doctors suffer. I think most of us will agree on this, that our own problems have enhanced because of the leaking of the knowledge, unwanted knowledge to unwanted elements about medical community. Otherwise, how does one come to know about what has gone exactly in the hospital? Because somebody of your own will say, no, this hospital, this was to be done like this was not done like this. Even if it is done properly, they will say it's not done properly. And then trouble start. But everybody has to play that musical chair. Person who said this is going to face that music same again. Some patient will go to somebody and that doctor may comment against him. So we have to learn from our mistakes, accept our problems, re-examine our own conscience, and unless we do it together and as an orchestra, nothing is going to be better for the generation is going to come. And the only help is that which we have in our hand is the Uniora software is communication. I'm very confident every one of you will understand these words, body language, voice, tone, volume, air of superiority. We pass our exams, we establish a hospital, our staff are calling us sir, madam. Patients also say sir, madam. When we walk into an hospital, we have an air of like Trump walking into the White House. Our language slowly has that air of superiority. Our words are bad for staff members. And this all piles up, adds to the problem. And then this is in the public places and hospitals, many of us behave. But when the patient comes into private, one will have to learn this. And I practice this here. This will make the other one, the one with the thorns, will silently make you the same person in your own setup also. Your reactions will be like the same you do in a government hospital. That is why I said I gave an example. If you have been taught in a government setup, your language of dealing with the patients is different. That is why sometimes Ayurvedic students who take an admission in Ayurvedic colleges, but they work with private setup people from second year, third year, fourth year, and they become better communication channels with the patients as far as their expertise of convincing the patient is there. The hindrances which we feel are, last few slides, the hindrances which we feel are, we have poor listening skills. Before the patient opens the mouth or says something, sir, I have so, okay, you are having toothache. He says, no, I just touched my face. I am problem in the legs. So we don't have listening time, patience. We underestimate the patient's capacity and intellect. We have less respect for people. We give insufficient time to people to be in the consulting room. And we don't remember patients sometimes. We will go to the round and say, how is your episiotomy? And the patient will say, I have undergone a cesarean. This has happened. It's not hypothetical. I'm giving you examples. And we fight with somebody in our clinic that disturbs the entire atmosphere of the clinic. The person goes off, but still we get caught into that fight, and the next all patients and the relationship with those patients and the communication with that patient is lost. So it's like saying that we can't predict anything unless the results come in. Why we neglect all this? Everybody knows this. Dr. Niranjan is not telling something rocket science, but do we practice it? And why do we neglect it? Because each one of us considers as the ace of an intellectual community. Communication skills cannot be taught, they are inborn. Emotional involvement starts if you talk too much with the patient. Talking sweet or talking rough, my skill of treating appendicitis is same. Why should I go towards the sweet language pattern? Aim that for is diagnosis and correct treatment and mechanical fixation of the problem. But all this leads to dire consequences. If you don't hear the patient like our teachers have told, 90% of the time, take a proper history, you will know the diagnosis because the patient tells the story and he takes you to the diagnosis. But we don't do it. Our diagnosis is delayed. There is a bad atmosphere and communication. Patient shifts to another hospital. Our publicity is ruined. We will have lots of medical cases, but here today is an applause to the female colleagues or female doctors. It has been statistically proved that male doctors have more medical legal suits than female doctors. I'm not talking obstetric gynec, overall. So good, big applause for the women for being sweet from the beginning and naturally. This is the commitments, like you will understand the picture. Somebody telling here you are pregnant and here not telling no, you are not pregnant. Obvious blunders. And then we have to rush around saying, please save my skin. The resistance for advices being given like this at many places is we have a conflicting attitude towards who is in control of the area. I am the hospital owner, I am the boss here, and I only practice correct medicine. After beyond the wall of my hospital, everybody is a quack. They are there to fleece the patients and they don't follow correct medical practice. Somebody comes with a Ciplox prescription, I'll keep it aside and I'll write Ciproflox. Patient doesn't understand it, but I'll say this should not have been given. This is the correct medicine. So this role conflict, poor understanding of economics of healthcare. A small touch here, I am the cheapest hospital in private setup, charging just 17,000 for general ward cesarean, including everything. And patient has to do nothing. So people ask, how can you survive? The answer is, our economics is not taught to us, and we never understand what is ROI, that is return on investment. Investment also is not only money. There are many other aspects to it. So, and we have sometimes poor practice habits which we have picked up in our learning days, and of course attitude towards what I can be like this and threaten the patients always, or I can be like this. The quote from William Osler, there are only two sorts of doctors, those who practice with their brain and those who practice with the tongues. And who will be more successful? Any guesses? A person who passes after 2 or 3 attempts, succeeds as the best doctor in the city, and who is a topper is in the government service because private practice had to be closed down. The solutions is be responsive to patients' needs, be consistent in treatment policies, don't change your diagnosis every 3rd day. This is pelvic inflammation. No, this seems to be abscess. No, this seems to be endometriosis. So don't keep on changing your statements every day. If you are lacking in some technology, either take help or acquire the technology. Provide feedback at regular intervals to your referral doctors. The definition of feedback, the meaning of feedback is left to everybody of you. You can have your own feedback into inverted apostrophes, but be consistent. Otherwise, it's a trouble. Either you don't give or you give, but then follow that. Even relatives, they need a positive feedback. Patient is admitted, I've seen the patient, I don't want to talk with the relatives. In fact, a hint is here. When there are relatives like that with the patient, just scan around and pick up some relative which you file congenial to you and start giving importance to that relative. You have understood it. Yeah. What you are saying is the correct way we have to go. He becomes your friend if there is any dispute between that family and you. You must make it a habit of picking up somebody who can be your spy into that system. Like our staff members can be spy because for a paltry sum of 100 rupees, entire documents have been given to the relatives by one of our staff. And why did the staff give it? Because of our foul language of admonishing the staff right, left, and center in the hospital in front of everybody. Don't we do it? I do it. Let me confess. You have to improvise on that. Otherwise, it's the big leak into your entire system. So communicate frequently and establish communication channels with paramedical staff, social opinion leaders, press. Sometimes you voluntarily go. Why you want to go to a medical camp of a leader? You establish a cancer detection camp, call the every media person and say it's going to be free. How much it is going to be costing? You can take help of a Foxy. You can take help of Indian Cancer Society. Your expenses will be minimal, but then they will remember your name and your help to them or guidance. Even I sometimes feel you should stop your car at the corner of your hospital. Ask that chaiwala, how are you? How are your sons and daughters doing? Did he pass? He was in 10th year yesterday, 10th year last year. If you speak a little sweet with your lanes, dhobi, or the panwala or chaiwala, some trouble is in your hospital. They will be the first ones to rush to your hospital. Your doctors and other colleagues will come later on. They will say, this is my doctor who is interested in me and my welfare. I won't allow anybody to touch anything to his hospital. We are supposed to have this kindness, empathy, patience, and warmth. And like Patch Adams, I hope everybody knows Patch Adams. In a country and a legal entity like USA, running a hospital without insurance cover. There was a film called as Patch Adams also. You can see it. Excellent movie and excellent philosophy which he believed and he carried on. You treat a disease, you win or you lose. You treat a person, I guarantee you win no matter what comes. We have now become like this multitasking. You have to either bear all these intrusions into your medical expertise. If you are intelligent, managing it very well. Otherwise, see to it that at the right time, you employ people who help you into all these management aspects. And for doctors, for understanding this, I have given a proposal to the Maharashtra Medical University. Start MMP from first year. MMP is Management of Medical Practice, which will have medical, economic, human resource, legality, social, counseling, crowd management, self-defense, knowledge. No exam, but credit points. Because if even I have taken gold medal after in all exams, if somebody, my father tells, okay, this is the money, go and do a transaction in the bank. How many were you able to do it when you had passed your medical graduate? How many of these angles we were knowing that we will have to know? How many were knowing that we have to have registered under Bombay Nursing Home Act? It's not there. And if the situation in the market has become volatile, like we have to teach our undergraduates or graduates to diagnose a person, treat the problem, they must also know what are going to be the problems if you have to practice. It can be a government service also, but there should be a knowledge of that saying if you opt for government service, these are the hindrances, these are the benefits. You may be transferred anywhere, you will be subject to the whim of the government. This is not known. We pass, we join, and then we struggle going on. And these are the journals which are really coming out. Medical practice management, certification course. So people will take advantage of opportunity. Like we are having certificate courses into our own space of specialties. We will need this one day. You can't make happy everyone. We are not morphine. We are going to create mistakes in some area or the other. And howsoever good you do, 10,000 tubectomies, 15,000 tubectomies, 20,000 tubectomies, felicitate in the district 5 times. And this gentleman has one mishap and the entire machinery went against him and he was jailed for it. So people will remember only the goals you have missed. In fact, we want to have this type of atmosphere in the social media. Doctors treat people, they have sleepless nights, doctors protest to protect, they want their child to be a doctor, still suffering from all these problems. Doctors are sensible, doctors have humanity. Let us be like doctors and treat doctors. Stop violence against doctors. If you are going to use threat or law or any other punishments, we have all in Kolhapur put up a board that this is the DPA Act, so much punishment, so much jail, so much this, so much this. Nothing helps. What can help? If there is a compassion, and like this poem said, this is I think second last, give me a doctor, partridge plum, that is heavy, short in the legs and broad in the rump, an endomorphine with gentle hands, who will never make absurd demands that I abandon all my vices. This is the patient saying. Nor pull a long face in the crisis, but with a twinkle in his eye, will tell me gently that I have to die. That's what the patient expects. Be soft, sweet, communicative, use the universal language. And I'll say, if you start doing this, you will find a change in your hospital coming in. You will find a change in your staff attitude. And you have to display this prominently. We care about you, not to the patients, but everybody who is in touch with your hospital. Even that bio-waste kacharawala who comes in the morning, how many of you have given them Diwali gift? Have you ever waited morning 6:30, sometimes when you have finished a case and that van comes in and asked him, do you want to have a cup of tea? These things will make a difference. No amount of expertise in medicine, no amount of law, no amount of court cases will make life easy. Otherwise, you will understand, self-understand. This is where we started. But when we have reached here, our attitude is like that only. We may have to restart. And that's the only answer. The hospital or the medical fraternity, with the people, of the people, by the people, with the doctor and patient, conjointly saying that this is congruent industry, needed by each other, like the fish and the water. But there will be people who will be skeptical and ask all these questions like there is no antecedent to this type of approach. Let us appoint a committee. We must have 100% yes. Let us ignore the skeptics and concentrate on our own good thing, good health, our own setups, our own family, our own colleagues, and rise to the occasion that at places where you go and you intervene, the people will say, oh, Rekha madam has come here. She will not speak anything which is wrong or not true and handle the case properly. And the patient or the people there will feel justice will be done. That is what is more important. Doubts are being created by justice. I am not saying there is a criminal act, but there has to be a mechanism, a modus operandi to tackle this. it's not going to have any help of pushing it under the blanket. On the last day, I want to honestly say, where we all made it, this all started, and I came across a story. This gentleman, elderly, 60s, 70s, walking through the ice, to the terrain, to the roughness, crosses this river where there is no bridge, goes to the other side, waits a little, turns back and builds this bridge. People in the village ask, "Are you have already come across? Why have you built the bridge?" He says, "I have come across, but there are many youngers, unexperienced, fresh, coming through this way, and they will need a bridge. And because I am experienced, I am knowledgeable, I have seen both sides, I should build the bridge. It is we should build the bridge for our next generation of medical fraternity, whether it is your daughter, son, or anybody else's son or daughter, because every life is precious." And I think we all should proudly say on our last day, yes, we made it at least a small difference. It may not be that the world will change, but at least change some places in our own city, our own area, and have a comfortable, happy good night's sleep without worrying about any other safety problems. That is what we are proud to be a doctor and always to be a doctor. This is thanks from where I collected the material, my staff. So let's be human and bring back dignity and glory. Thank you, Niranjan, the monkey in the pack. The pack refers to you all. Thank you very much, madam. I don't know whether there are going to be any questions, time for questions, but I always fear like this, that I get carried on. Today my wife had warned that you will have to constrain. This is not like people are sitting. So be precise, but I am very sure I have overshot. Sorry for that. Pardon me if I have wasted your time. Thank you very much.
So we enjoyed ourselves. Rekha, over to you, Rekhanti. Yeah, Dr. Rekhanti. Yes, Dr. Rekhanti.
Disturbance.
Rekhanti,
You can see.
Yeah,
You can't.
I think she is facing some network issues. Till then, I was asking Dr. Abhijit Deshpande to unmute himself. He has raised his hand for a long time now.
Is he Abhijit Deshpande from Belgaum?
Yes.
Yeah.
A notorious question will come.
Good evening, sir. Not exactly. I was asking you for some solutions, which incidentally you started talking about it immediately.
Dr. Abhijit, you're not audible properly.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little louder, please?
Hello.
Yeah.
There seems to be some kind of disturbance.
Yeah, there's some disturbance. Dr. Abhijit? Rekhanti, we can't hear you. Yeah. Yes. Can't hear you, Rekhanti.
Is there disturbance with the Zoom or it's in the
I don't
particular?
know. There is some window which is the audio is on and there is a lot of disturbance from that window. I'm not able
Hello.
to see.
Yeah, Abhijit.
Yeah, good evening, sir.
Good evening.
After a long time, we are conversing. Nice to listen to you. It was really what you can say, you echoed the thoughts of everyone, and it's really a very, very, very critical and important juncture at the time of period which we all youngsters, I should say, that 40s and 50s we are practicing, we still have to question ourselves what's going on. And you practically pointed out everything. I raised my hand to ask some how to go about it, and at the same time you started covering the same issue. So right now I don't have any questions. I have to muse and think over what you have said.
Abhijit, can you hear me, Abhijit?
Yeah, I am able to.
Yeah. So it's not rocket science. Just remember that you are also having a conscience within you.
Yeah.
Deep into it, look around and play by the nature's rule. You will find the answers for your own situation.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Right. Rekha ma'am? My Rekha ma'am, are you there? Over to you, Rekha aunty, for your remarks.
Am I audible?
Yes.
Excellent lecture. And you threw light on every corner of our life, the professional life. But still, doctors are going to be made. And I feel lot of things have come between the doctors and the patient. I think that is the reason. And the hospital management is also one part of doctor's life. And that has also complicated as you said, the moral, the legal, the social, the ethical, security, financial, curriculum, and violence against the doctors have made lot of difference, but still there are three core of people. One, those who do not think about and they will become doctors. Second is they will think between whether to become or not. And third is absolutely against becoming a doctor. So I don't know how we are going to manage, but it is going to be there, the patients and the doctor. Don't you think a lot of things have come between the media, the TV, and the patients, between the doctor and the patient? That is why it is creating problems. Dr. Shah? Hello?
Sir, you're muted. Shah, sir, you're muted.
I'll just say.
Absolutely true, madam, what you said. That's what I'm saying, that the single road which was going now has multiple bylanes, and they intersect with each other, and it's going to have its own problems and concerns. And that is why if there is smoke, there has to be a fire. So we have to look from all the angles and see and adopt an approach which will lead to maximum, as we say. Ultimately, it comes down again like a philosophical statement that we want to practice with peace.
I think it is becoming like living relationship of a boy and want to get married whenever they want. They want their life that they want. They want to have they want to have boy or a girl they want, the type of delivery, and they want their child also to be looked after. So patients' demands have become like that. They should get what they want on their terms from the doctor. That is what I feel. So thank you so much, Dr. Shah.
Thank you, madam. Thanks.
And happy birthday to you.
Thank you, man. Your blessings will enhance my life by a few years.
Yes. I had also chicken. I suffered a lot. About 2 years to get all right. But I became all right. I am now 78 years old.
Oh my.
So she will get all right. You just don't worry. Okay, bye.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Mo, you're muted.
Okay.
For summing up this elaborate topic, it actually expressed all the feelings, all the voices, all the thoughts that we have, and the doubts and the queries that we have regarding did we take a right decision in becoming a doctor or not. And should we force or should we encourage the younger generation or the next generation to pursue this profession, noble profession? So thank you once again, Dr. Bhivapurkar ma'am and Dr. Shah sir, for this wonderful, definitely enlightened us regarding.
Bye.
Nothing is going on.
Yeah, I think there is some audio network issue, or Amok, we can't hear you.
I can hear Among nicely. Said.
Amok, can't hear you.
Oh,
Suddenly there is some network issue, lot of background echo as well.
Yeah, it is stopped now. Yes,
Yeah, Amok.
stop now.
Can't hear you. God knows what's going wrong. Amok, we are not able to hear you. You are unmuted but can't hear. Try.
No.
Okay. Should I invite Amok? You keep trying. Till then, I'll invite our Honorary Secretary, Dr. Rajasi Sengupta, to propose vote of thanks. Rajasi, over to you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Niranjan Shah, sir, wish you a very happy birthday.
Thank you, ma'am.
And what a lecture it has been. Absolutely amazing. Mesmerizing and stunning totally. You have touched every aspect of this Yaksha Prashna, what we could say, in such great details and with such innovative graphics that the whole time we were all glued to your screen and just relating to it completely, one-on-one. Thank you so much for such a wonderful lecture. So many questions that keep on stirring in our minds have been so lucidly put forth by you. And along with that, what I appreciated was you also suggested the relevant remedies and solutions what we could do from our part, which was something really creditable. So thank you so much for such a wonderful and insightful lecture. And it has been the chat box, if you read, sir, it has flooded with compliments for you. And we also got to know that you and your wife both are doing great, wonderful work for HIV positive children. So I
Thank you.
think philanthropy runs in the family, and you are a true, to the bone, true doctor, I must say.
Thank you very much for the compliment.
Thank you so much for that. We really appreciate your talk today here. And actually, the credit should go to Vedehi ma'am for selecting such a wonderful topic and such a wonderful speaker.
Thank you, Vaidhi. I'll remember it if you run for the central office.
Certainly, sir, you must. She deserves it totally.
Yes.
I would like to thank our chairpersons for the session, Dr. Rekha Bhivapurkar madam and Dr. Prajakta Barde, for their wonderful insights. It has been, I'm sure, having a chairperson of the stature of Bhivapurkar madam has given a totally different insight to the whole event, because she, from her bird's eye perspective, can tell us the vast sea of differences that has come over this medical profession in the last several decades. So it has been absolutely apt that we have a chairperson like her for this particular session. Special thanks to Amog for wonderfully coordinating and managing the technical stuff and anchoring the session so well. Amog had displayed a slide on a number. So dear participants, any of you who wish to be notified of our future online DigiOGAN CMEs, please send us your name and your mobile number to 93566 32671. You could take a screenshot of this and please send us your name and mobile number. So we'll add you to our broadcast list and we shall notify you of our future DigiOGAN online CMEs. The best part was all the participants who came online, as always, we thought that after this festivities and a small hiatus that we took for a couple of weeks, the attendance would go low, but not at all. They have been there and they've been sticking around till the end. Thank you so much. Mitra madam, wish you a very happy birthday, and we are happy you came and logged in again. This is almost like your own thing. So thank you so much for being with us today. Wish you, so signing out for the evening, and wish you all a very good evening. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Amok, can you unmute and try? Unmute.
I think he is unmuted already.
Now, yeah.
I'm audible now?
Yeah,
Yes,
now
sir.
you are.
Oh, just a second. I'll leave from here. Yeah. Okay, so sorry for that technical glitch. There's some problem with the laptop. Thank you, Shah sir. Thank you, Vedi ma'am. Thank you, Rajsi ma'am. It was a wonderful session. Sir, you really brought out the voices, the thoughts, the queries, the doubts we have regarding that. Have we chosen the right field? Are we in the right field? Do we have the right temperament for this field? And what all we can do to improve our own self, not only as a doctor, but as a person as well. With this wonderful message given by Dr. Shah sir, something to ponder over for everyone regarding the change in our personality and practices to be taken so that we have a good and a clear conscience at the end of the day. So with this, we sign off from today's meeting and thank you all for joining us today. Good evening, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you all. God bless you. May you be safe from Corona.
Yeah.
Enjoy your next Diwali.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, everyone. Niranjan sir, thank you. Tumcha birthday la you spent so much time with us, and it was an excellent presentation, just what we expected. Although the scenario seems grim, but the way you presented was just outstanding. Please go through the chat box. We'll stay logged in for a few minutes so that you can just go through the chat box. There are lots of compliments for you.
I'm really thankful for having given this platform. Yes,
And please
okay.
pass on our wishes to Madam for a speedy recovery.
I think she was on the screen also.
Was she there?
Yeah, give me a
Oh,
shot.
oh, oh.
So I think
I missed out.
yeah, she was there.
He must have logged out now.
I think, I don't know.
Okay,
When she is
so
at home, I am in the hospital. So, but anyway, I'll have to talk on this for hours together.
I could make out you're very passionate about the entire thing.
Because I mean, in Kolhapur, we are really, that way the city is small, and we have been like, for example, we made it a point to have some cordial relations with your local police station. Go there, meet them, greet the officer who has newly come, give the staff some stuff, sanitizers, this, that, gloves, something. And when you phone them and say that, yeah, this is we speaking and we need your help at this point, you'll find that there is a difference. We have to be a proactive thing. It's no point of every time saying what NGO is doing for us. Who is Nagpur Obstetric Gynec Society? It is members.
True.
We have to do it for ourselves. It is not that some third party is going to come and solve our.
Right.
You will have solutions. And we had wonderful results. We have minimal problems. There are problems, but mostly they relate to the bill part. And so we also take a precaution saying that the financial transactions, unless you have it on, this is for again those who are present. When you intervene, it is if the problem is purely financial. You don't have anything to say in it because you don't know what has been agreed upon between two parties. But if it is on black and white and paper and everything clear, then we can definitely put in the right amount of pressure. In one small word in Marathi we say, or I'll say it in English. You must, if you are a fish, then you must know you are a small fish, or you also know the big fish. Then you can swim freely. So
Right.
you make a habit of knowing the big fishes of Nagpur.
Right, sir. Okay.
Yep. Thanks once again, and I would definitely love to visit Nagpur. And of course, even though I'm not in Nagpur, for all these your activities, I'm your permanent audience. So
Thank you so much. That's very kind of you, sir. A faculty of your stature joining us for DigiGyan definitely is very encouraging for us.
I don't know whether I qualify to be called a faculty. That's why I always keep the grassroots member of the organization.
No, sir, the way you presented today, it was wonderful. Really, really a good lecture after a long time.
Thank you.
On this topic, especially.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm seeing the chat box, so
Yeah, there are many compliments for you and the way you expressed and brought about the feelings of the general population of doctors.
that's why why they asked me what's the just line of this subject. I said it's your and mine, everybody's journey of becoming a doctor and then practicing a doctor, facing the problems.
There were flashes of residency when you mentioned 72 hours of no sleep, continuous duties. Like we go back to the
Yeah.
residency days. Seriously, 2 days, 3 days continuous on duty.
And we never felt anything about it.
Yeah.
So I don't know when nowadays and I'm sorry to not to give it a direct mention, but you find nowadays that even the residents also and their parents, like the school situation, will intervene, will come to the in charge and say why this many hours of duty, why my daughter is not given holiday or my son is left to do this duty. I mean, that's like still keeping the children under protected umbrella,
Right.
wishing that they'll become to be standing, what do we say, last man standing in the medical field. Sure, bye. Right?
So thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for the opportunity. You made my birthday. Thank you.
Happy birthday once again, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay.
It says sign on only.